And we're live. There we go. Definitely need some scripting in here so I don't have to try and hit 13 buttons at once in the right order on 3 different pages. That's definitely going to have to happen. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. Welcome to PhotoJoseph's live show, sponsored by YoloLiv. All run on YoloLiv gear. We'll be talking about that in a bit. It is half an hour earlier than the start time that I've been doing. And there's a couple good reasons for this. For one, I am trying this time slot because a full hour earlier was too much earlier for some people. Half hour earlier should be good. But this is the first week of daylight savings time or summertime, whatever the heck it's actually called, in the United States, America. And so now they are an hour closer to us. So this is now half an hour later for them, even though it's half an hour earlier over here. Don't worry, we'll catch up in a few weeks and then it'll all be back to the confusing times. I know, it's kind of ridiculous. Can we just get rid of this, please? Just somebody get rid of this, that would be fantastic. So, quick little shout out in the comments. First of all, make sure you are hearing me A-okay. We're seeing a few comments coming up here. Let's bring up the comment stream. And what do we got? We have got M681, M6814 Rojas. I gotta work on your username, bro. From Baltimore, Maryland. Excellent. We have Omar from Dubai. Love that you are here as a regular. Really appreciate that. And yes, I do have the 12K here. We'll be talking about that a little bit today. Not a whole lot, but we'll be talking about it a bit. And Cayman Islands in the house. Excellent. Oh, that's fine. Now that is a place I have definitely not been to. I should try to get to one day. All right, let's do a quick tour of the setup here. And I want to run something by you guys. So I was looking at my old live stream shows, the ones that I did in like 2015, 14-ish. You know, it's been a while. Maybe it's a little later than that, but it's been a while. It's been like 10 years. And those shows were awesome. Those were really fun and really dynamic. And I did them up to like 3 times a week, and at some point 5 days a week. That was a bit much, but I was doing it 3 times a week. And I was looking back at those, and you know, I haven't felt like this show has really found its footing yet. It's not really hit the vibe, hit the stride. And so I was trying to figure out what is it that's missing. And watching those old shows, I realized a big part of what those shows were was every show, well, when I was doing those shows, I wasn't doing edited videos, right? So those shows were my edited videos. I picked a topic. Today we're gonna review this widget. And I would dive deep onto the widget and show everything that I could. And I always had clever ways of showing what was on the screens or whatever. Or if I was showing something like a camera flash, I would actually go into the studio and shoot. And it was when I saw a video that I'd done where I stepped away from the desk that I realized that is what this show is missing. That's what's missing here. I'm kind of locked into this position, and so there's a limit to what I can do here. So I like the idea of stepping out from behind the desk, going out into the studio at large. And there is, where's my back camera? There is a lot of studio out there. I mean, it's a bit of a mess from where you are looking, but it is a whole lot of studio. I got a big space here, but it's even bigger out there. So I can do that, but I have to rig up different cameras for that, which, you know, we've got plenty of, that's not a problem. And I need to talk to Frank about it, but I think that's the right path forward for this show to make it truly something special, to make it like it used to be. So that's what we're gonna want. Just as always, I always ask, what do you guys want to see out of the show? Nobody ever really tells me. I would appreciate some answers. But let me know what you think of that idea. Then I can get out. I've got a new seamless that I just installed. That's kind of funny. If you didn't see the short that I talked about it, I had I'd run out of wall space in here when I kind of first set everything up, and I realized as I was laying out my studio, I don't have a place for a seamless. I got a little one, like a little, what do they call it? You know, little mini ones that's kind of on stands and goes behind one of my tabletop setups. But I didn't have a place for a full 9-foot seamless. And then I finally realized, let's see if you can see it on here. You can't. It's right in the middle, so kind of right, if you were to like, way up there, but it'd come down between the rooms. So there's the way that this big space is, it's kind of two big rooms next to each other, but a previous tenant knocked a huge hole in the wall between them, so it's basically one big room with kind of a half wall. And I realized, oh my God, I could hang this from there, so it kind of divides the room mostly. There's still space to get through, but now I have a seamless, a full-size seamless, which I'm super excited about. So I can do things like, you know, simple photo demos with a plain white background. So anyway, that's, you know, what I'm thinking of. So let me know what you think of that. Let me go back to the comments real quick. We got Russia in the house, 7:32 p.m. You are couple hours later. I've been watching you since I bought the S12E after using a GH4 for some time. Oh, still learning many things. Awesome. Well, that is so cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Seal Beach, California. California. Excellent. Please stop the background music. What? I did. It didn't stop? Oh, for God's sakes. You guys got to tell me these things sooner. You guys got to tell me these things sooner. I hit the, see, that's what I'm talking about when I say I need a cording way to do it. I stopped it, but it's a teeny little button. I've got 15 things to do at once. So apparently when I hit stop, it didn't stop. Sorry about that. Now we know. Thank you very much for that. And whoever else is hearing it, you got to tell me sooner. You got to tell me sooner. Thank you, BK. Seriously, you guys and your screen names. All right. Nice backdrop. Just keep doing what you do. Well, I keep doing what I do, but I'm always looking for suggestions and ideas and what you guys want. All right, let's do a quick dive into the YoloBox setup here, just so you can see what is going on. Starting with the overhead camera, this whole thing is being run on the YoloBox Extreme. This show is being streamed in 4K, so if you are not currently watching in 4K, go down to the little widget in YouTube and say, hey, show me the 4Ks, because you want all the Ks. This is the 4K show. And let's see here. So that is our main box. It's the YoloBox Extreme. We've got a bunch of HDMI inputs. We've got a USB webcam input and of course the audio. So let's see here. Let's start with the cameras. So this is main camera 1. That is a YoloCam S7 with the, I'm trying to remember what lens is on there. With a lens. I think it's the 25, so it's a 50 mil equivalent because it's a micro four thirds sensor. 25 f1.4 on that one, I do believe. And then the top-down camera is another YoloCam S7. This one is with the 15 millimeter. Now I actually have it on manual focus because if I go into autofocus, it's awesome if I'm doing stuff like this. However, there we go. However, I have discovered that it kind of gets confused by, because it's LiDAR, it gets confused by the glossy screen here and doesn't want to focus on that properly. So I need to go into manual focus and just make the manual adjustments, which now I'm trying desperately to find again. There we go. I think, oop, too far. There we go. So that's that. And then the third camera, that is the wide camera, is the USB webcam. That is the S3 webcam. And fun little thing on this I was playing with. So let me show you the YoloBox settings. So this is the settings page. Notice down here, let's see here, right there where it says wide, that's that little USB camera. If I tap on that and go into camera settings, and before I do that, I'm going to turn off my little picture-in-picture, so let me get rid of that and then go into the camera settings in here. I can actually zoom into this. So I can be like, yo, give me a 2x zoom. Now this is a 4K webcam, but it's actually only outputting 1080p over USB into the box here. But what that means is that I can get a 2x push. If you're doing a 1080p show, especially, you get a 2x push with zero quality loss. This is still zero quality loss, but it was always 1080p. So that's kind of cool. So you got that. I just realized that I could do that the other day. I can go all the way to 4x, which is a little too far. But yeah, that's kind of cool. And then you can save presets for all of that as well, which is neat. See, I think I'll just leave it. I'll go back to the 1x. Let's get the full wide scene, the behind the scenes from the front type of a scene. So that's that camera as well. And let's see, that's the cameras, the YoloBox. Audio is just a wireless mic going in. I'm recording this show. Usually I'm recording to the internal, but this time I'm recording to an external SSD just because why not? Makes things go a little bit faster. And then I guess that covers the YOLO-ish side of things, I guess. And you'll see all the other stuff as we go. Every show I say, I will be recording a full, proper, behind the scenes what goes into this, but not until I'm done setting it up. And now that I've realized I might expand this from beyond this desk, it's going to be even longer, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, so there's that. All right, let's dive into, let's check the questions one more time, check the chit chat, and then we'll dive into the main topics. Picture quality is very good in 4K. Excellent, excellent. And everybody else is just saying hello to everybody else. All right, so first topic up is, it's a 12K camera. It's ridiculous. It's not mine. I got to give it back. I have it for like 6 to 8 weeks. Hopefully I can tell them. I thought you said 68 weeks. I don't know. But this is the Blackmagic PYXIS 12K. And if you saw my Higgsfield AI video, which maybe we should have a discussion about AI, but if you saw that video, and if you didn't because you were like, I ain't watching an AI video, just give me a little love, watch it, check it out. You might be surprised. Anyway, That video I shot entirely with the 12K. The opening sequence, there's really only 2 camera shots in there. It's all kind of talking head, right? There's me on this cool set that I built with the projected background and funky lights. It was kind of fun. I shot that on the 12K, and if you watch that portion of the video, I punch all the way in. So I go 1-to-1 on the pixel. So it's a 4K delivery, 12K footage. So you have 9 times the size that you need. Nuts. And I punched in all the way, and it's such a huge punch in. It's not like, you know, ooh, a little crop. It's such a huge punch in that the first person who reviewed that, who owns this camera, was like, oh, you shot that with 2 cameras. Didn't realize it was actually just the 12K punching it. You punch in so far, it becomes like a second camera, really like a second camera, not like, oh, he cropped into that a little bit, which is kind of what I feel when I shoot 6K for 4K. You feel like you're cropping in a little bit. So that is remarkable how big of a difference it is. I mean, you can imagine if you're shooting an interview, I mean, just keep it simple, right? You've got a 2-person interview. You now have your wide and your 2 tight shots with 1 camera. Heck, you could do like a panel, you know, people on a stage, 5, 6 people on a stage, have a wide shot, and then crop individuals out of them. It's pretty crazy. We shot a short today that we'll publish probably tomorrow because it's already mostly edited and it's just too much fun not to release right away, where we shot a scene vertically with this in 16:9 mode. So you still get 6K and 16:9, just not as, you know, if you're vertical, it's just not as wide, obviously. But you still get the full width or height when vertical. And for a reel, which is, of course, 1920 by 1080 delivery, 1080 by 1920. And in the video, it's like, how far can we punch in? Boom, boom, punching farther and farther in. It's ludicrous. I'm not suggesting anybody should do that, but it's kind of cool. So for that, it's awesome. The files are huge though. So like I said, I shot the entire Higgsfield video, talking head stuff with this. There's a lot, obviously I think the final video is like 17 minutes. I probably had 45-ish minutes of footage. It was like 700 or 800 gigs. Almost a terabyte for one video, so I won't be doing that again. The talking head at my desk definitely did not need to be 12K. I'd never push beyond what was 6K. 6K is what I would normally shoot there, so you get that punch in. Definitely would recommend scaling it down and for stuff like that. And that's one of the beauties of the camera is you can go in and say, I want 12K, I want 8K, I want 6K, I want 4K. And you can crop it down, not crop, scale it down. So you're still using the full sensor and scale down to the size that you actually want, which is pretty slick. So that part of it is fun. This monitor, so this is just the base setup. I don't have any accessories yet. And I'm actually gonna do a video on this base setup because I think that a lot of people do videos about, oh, I can attach this, that, and the other thing, and I'll be doing that too. But I think it's worth seeing what the base setup is like. This is with the top handle added, so normally it's just the camera. This is the top handle and then the Blackmagic monitor, which is one USB connection, which gives it video and data, and it's touch, so you have total control. It's a really nicely integrated system. This monitor is slick for this camera. Even if you're not gonna mount it on this handle, definitely would recommend this monitor. Condor Blue is sending me a whole rigging package for this, so I will, once that arrives, I'll be able to talk about that. And at that point, I'll have a different handle, different mounting for everything else, but I'll still be using this monitor, so that's pretty slick. Things that surprise a lot of people, it has SDI out, but no HDMI out. There's no HDMI out on this thing, so SDI only. It's got Ethernet, which is awesome for all kinds of things. You can do camera control over it. You can access the files on it over the network, stuff like that. You can do camera control, but it doesn't have Wi-Fi. So if you want to, control the camera from an iPad or a phone, which you can do, this has to be on the network. Of course, there's no Wi-Fi, so you have to put it onto the Ethernet network. Or what I realized is you could actually go USB-C from here into your phone, or even cooler, and Michael Tobin told me this was his secret to give away, USB-C into your Mac, and then run from the App Store, you can, on a Mac, on the M chip Macs, you can run the iPad OS or iPhone OS, whatever it's called, iOS apps. So you can run the iPad OS Blackmagic camera app on a computer. So when I did the recordings for the Higgsfield thing, I had all the control on a monitor that was out of frame, USB-C from here into the computer, full camera control from there. I thought that was so cool to be able to do. So love that. Things that I don't like so far. So I can't take this out in the field yet because I don't have a battery for it. I thought it was NP battery. Oops, it's not. It's not even a battery I had ever used before. It looks like NP. It probably says on here somewhere, but it's not NP. And so it comes with an AC power thing, right? So I can run it that way, but I don't have a battery for it yet. But when the Condor Blue stuff comes, they're sending a, what is this power thing called? I forget what the power port is called, but anyway, D-tap to this, and so I'll have a V-mount rig on it, a V-mount battery, and that'll be able to power it for the field that way. But you can't power it over USB-C, and you can't power it without adding anything else other than whatever that battery is that I don't own any. Double CF Express Type B cards, very, very good. This one is, I see someone commented here, this is the L mount because I have a ton of L mount lenses, so I got the L mount option, and it's great, right, obviously. It has autofocus, but it's Blackmagic autofocus, so it basically is as good as Lumix autofocus was before PDAF, which is like it's actually even worse than that because it's one touch, it's basically one-touch autofocus. There's no continuous. It's one-touch autofocus. Apparently, rumor is that this has PDAF in it. They just have to turn it on like they did for the pocket cinema cameras, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, so autofocus is basically a non-starter on this. What else? Oh, yeah, other weird things. So you've got a histogram display that shows up on here or on here, but it's tiny, doesn't get bigger, and there's no waveform monitor. And coming from Lumix, I guess if you came from any other camera where you're not used to having a waveform monitor, you're like, oh, okay, that's, you have to have external for that. This has an external monitor of their own, still no waveform monitor, and a tiny little histogram. I can't base my exposure on that. It does have false color though, and it does have zebras, so you get all of that. But I kind of live and die by the waveform monitor. I'm just so used to it. So it's really disappointing to not have that. So that's a learning curve. I think I'll have to get used to using false color more. There's just my first thoughts. We're not going to go super deep into it, but there's my first thoughts. It is cool. It's cool. I am excited because of the interface. If you've never used the Blackmagic cameras before or their recorders, their interface is really good. I would say it probably is the best interface in the industry. It's really easy to use, easy to understand. I'm used to it because I have one of their recorders. So I've been using that for years, so I know my way around it. So as soon as I fired this up, I'm like, oh, I know exactly where everything is. The fact that I can enter slate metadata on the camera is huge. Love that. Obviously, it's recording the Blackmagic RAW. Yeah, it's cool. All right, that's enough. It's cool. Let's see, what does people come saying here? Going back to the comments here. Me and PhotoJoseph have the same haircut, but I always wear a hat because my studio is just an office. Well, I wear a hat outdoors, especially in the sun, because otherwise I'd turn into a crispy fried pancake. And of course, in the winter, I'm wearing a hat because it's cold out there. But that's me. That's me. I have the Ursa Cine 12K and the PYXIS 12K. Love the sensor. Yeah, I mean, the image looks good. I haven't pushed it, right? Obviously, I need to do a lot of pushing with it. I got to get it out of the studio. But again, watch that opening scene to the Higgs field thing. That's very low light. I don't remember what the ISO was on the camera. Doesn't matter. It was a low light setup, and it looks cool. Of course, somebody commented, why should they listen to me? Why should they listen to anybody who clearly knows nothing about lighting? And I thought, oh, that's harsh. I kind of like the lighting setup, and other people have said they like it. So you watch it and you tell me, do you like the lighting? Or you're like, this guy clearly doesn't know anything about lighting. I think I know something about lighting. Oh, something else on that video. This is so much fun. Nothing to do with the video itself, but it's on that video. You might have seen, it actually made like one of the top videos on YouTube a few weeks ago. Some young guy, I'm gonna call him a kid, some kid is doing this kind of challenge for himself, posting every day on YouTube for a year, 100 days or something like that. And he figured out a little hack, I hate to use the word hack, let's call it a bug. Honestly, it was a bug that he found. He found a bug in YouTube where you can upload your own audio tracks. So like, I'm doing this in English, but if I want to record a French version of the same thing, I can do a French recording and then upload that as an audio track. Or YouTube has its auto dubbing, you can have people dub it, whatever. So you can upload separate audio tracks. One of those audio track languages is Klingon, obviously. And so he decided to use the Klingon track to upload an audio file, but he uploaded a file that was twice as long as his video. And it confused the hell out of YouTube. YouTube was like, this video is 3 minutes long. No, it's 6 minutes long. I actually looked at one point where it said the duration was infinity, had an infinity symbol. I wish I'd grabbed a screenshot. I'm like, that is so funky. The video is only 3 minutes long, but it didn't know. But while he was talking about this and how funny it was, he said something about, oh, you could use that to add a commentary track. And I went, oh, what? What? Oh no, isn't that interesting? That's a really good idea. Now, YouTube doesn't have, among all their like dozens, 100+ language track options. There is no one called commentary, but they got Klingon. Klingon's not a real language. So how about we use Klingon as the commentary track? And so when you watch the Higgsfield video, in the first like 30 seconds, it has a thing that says, hey, if you switch to the Klingon track, you will hear a commentary track. And it reminds you again at the end. And so you can watch it with the commentary track. And the way that I did that one is kind of like you would have a behind the scenes commentary. The original dialogue is there, but super, super low. And then I'm talking over it. And it was really fun to kind of explain the backdrop, explain what I did here, some of the settings that aren't part of the main video. And I loved it. Now, I just did another video. I didn't do that on because I just didn't have time and it didn't really fit into it. But any video where it makes sense, I'm totally doing a commentary track. So it didn't take that much time. I basically recorded it straight through. It was a 17-minute video. It took me 17 minutes. I think I paused once or twice to go look something up. But it didn't take much time to do. And it's super cool. So I'm totally going to do that. So I will, obviously, any video I do, I'll put a little thing on the screen that says, select Klingon for the commentary. But isn't that neat? Isn't that like kind of cool? Now YouTube just needs to make one that's actually called commentary so people can find it easier. But I think it's really cool. So there you go. All right, what are we doing here? Nice, interesting that you can do camera control. I hadn't realized that. Andy, yep, totally camera control from a computer or of course from an iPad or iPhone with a USB-C cable. And then you don't have to get it onto the network. Matt says, one, I'm retired, so this is just a hobby. Cool, so I have no need for 12K. I mean, do most of us? No. But it's great to have, and it is super awesome. My issue with Blackmagic BMD cameras is they lose value really fast. Oh, interesting. I sold my FX3 for 75% of what I paid for it after 3+ years. I think that's unique to the FX3. The FX3 was a really beloved camera, and maybe I'm wrong. I have not done side-by-side comparisons, but I would imagine that most cameras lose around the same amount of value over time. I think the Sony FX3, just because it was so popular and because it's, well, I don't even know if they make it anymore. But anyway, it's an older camera, but it was really, really popular, so the value held. I wouldn't say Blackmagic cameras necessarily lose value, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I've gotten used to fair autofocus, and I have a Leica Q3, though it got much better with firmware 4. Well, hopefully they'll improve the autofocus with this one, as they have been talking about. I have 2 Blackmagic Pocket Cinema cameras, 4K. I love it. I know that with that, a BMP-CC 4K, and 6K. I'm still using them. Great cameras. They're great cameras. Crappy autofocus, but great cameras. I like the lighting. In fact, I think your lighting is excellent. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. That lighting was cool. Man, the funny thing was about that comment, so it was, why should I listen to the opinion of anybody who doesn't know how to light? And I'm like, what does my ability or inability to light a set have to do with my opinion about something that has nothing to do with lighting? I mean, I could see, if you don't like my lighting and I'm talking about lighting, then don't listen to me. But if you, don't like my lighting and I'm talking about barbecue, who the cares? Come on. Anyway, so I wrote back that, like, why would it matter whether you like my lighting or not? Matter of personal opinion, you don't like it, fine. Why would that matter? And he responded with some like totally unhinged response that got into spam. And then I saw their, check the spam thing every once in a while. I saw the spam thing. I'm like, oh, this is brilliant. I'm totally releasing this. And I've released it to be published, and YouTube ate it. Half the comments that I approve just go away. Sucks, but that's YouTube. Okay. Last one, then we're moving on. When I was working, having a Sony was just a plus. Don't have to have a reason. Okay, cool. All right, so that was that. Other industry news thing, I'm just going to throw this up just to have a little industry news because it is news, and we're not going to dwell on it here, but y'all probably saw that Rode released the Rodecaster Video Core, which I did a video on that was just released yesterday. It is a Rodecaster Video S, which is the little one without any buttons. So it's a little box with no interface. You can control it from your computer, or the super cool thing is you can control it from a Rodecaster Pro 2, which is the audio interface, or the Rodecaster Duo, the other audio interface. So you can control the video switching from the audio interface that you might already own. Those things have been around forever. And or control it from the computer, which means you can control it from BitFocus Companion. Not having an interface means you can tuck it away, put it under your desk. You can stick it in a rack. It is rack height. It will fit in a rack. And yeah, that's basically that. So did a video on that yesterday. Make sure you check that out. I felt like I had another industry thing to say, but I'm forgetting what it was now, so I'm not going to worry about it. Let's move on to the next thing. I think, hello from Arizona. Hello, Arizona. I think that we should jump into the YOLO portion, because this is something a lot of people have been asking about, where we're going to show how to do the XML export. So I can't show on the device what you do to set up to record because I'm already recording for this show. But when you tap the record button, so let's do this, and up near the top, you know, I'm not even going to go near it with my finger lest I accidentally hit it, but you can see the recording button flashing there. When you go to record, it gives you the option of recording an FCPXML file. When you go into the recording settings, which here I can do that, so let's go into the recording settings, you can see that under where it says select recording sources, you can choose what you want it to record. Program, which cameras, which inputs, blah, blah, blah. Any active input you can set to record. Now, if you're shooting in 1080p, then you can record most of those angles at once. It might even be all of them. I did a whole video 6-ish months ago, kind of maxing out the extreme, seeing how far you could push it with recording ISOs. And I have a whole video with exactly how many streams at 4K 60, at 4K 30, you can record at 1080p and so on. And I really broke it down. The higher resolution and higher bit rate the video is, the less you can record as the ISOs. It's just a processing power deal, how that works. But you can go in there and you can choose multiple angles to record. And then with the FCP XML file, you can load that up into Final Cut or Resolve or whatever and switch the angles, recut the show. So I've already done a little mini test that I've already copied over to the computer so that I can show you what that process looks like. So allow me to get this fired up. And here, actually, I'll start with this view. All right, let's go to the computer. Okay, so starting with this, this is what was recorded. Now there's two projects. I did two different tests, and I'll explain those when I open them up, but these are the two XML files, so FCP XML files. And then these are all the video files that it created, audio files for it, and then separate MP4 files that are from the individual, basically the ISOs. So these are all the files that it has. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to do this in Resolve. In Final Cut, if you did this in Final Cut, then it's a little bit more straightforward actually, because Final Cut, I guess it has a relative path so it knows where the file lives. Resolve is looking for an absolute path, so it's not going to know where the file is. You'll have to tell it where, but that's like it. I mean, it's literally point at one folder and say the media is here, and that's all you have to do extra. So here's the process. In Resolve, you go to File, Import, Timeline. And yes, it is timeline, because when you go into the timeline box here, you'll see that it shows a ton of different formats that it can import from here. So you can see right here, FCPXML, and I'm going to choose the first one. And in the first one, I did not record the program. So the first one was just some of the ISOs, but not the program, which is probably not a good way to go unless you absolutely know that you are using only the ISOs that you are recording. And you'll see why in a second. So leave that there. Yep, that's good. And so I'm going to import that. Pops up, file name, import timeline. That's all automatic. Basically, leave everything where it is. It sets your resolution. It's going to match the frame rate. There's nothing really to change in here. Click OK. It's going to say, hey, the media can't be found. So it says, do you want to select another folder to search for it? Yes. And then just basically point to that same folder. So it's on my desktop, video, record. So everything is inside of these two folders. I'm just going to point to the top level one because I don't know if it's looking for stuff in here or in here, so it doesn't matter. Select the top, click OK, and it'll find it. So there are the angles that I recorded. So I did a 3-angle recording. And here's the thing, after this, and I should have come back to it later, but after this portion, I was switching to camera angles that I wasn't recording. And because I didn't have the program record, there's literally nothing there. So that is what will happen if you don't have the program. You'll just get gaps. Now, if I had gone back to one of the angles, then it would show up in the right place on the timeline, but there would just be a gap in there. So be aware of that. It's best to let the program be recorded as well, unless you absolutely know that you're not going to do anything that that wouldn't require the program view. So if you're doing any picture-in-pictures, any graphics, any overlays, anything like that, you want the program view because all of that is gone if you don't have program. So let's open up a bigger one, a little bit more complex one. Here, let me put this in a new bin just to organize things here. Where are we? Clip operations, create bin, bin 1, that's fine. Let's create another bin in here, new bin 2 is fine. And with that one selected, I'll go File, Import, oops, come back here, Import, Timeline. Grab that second one, Same process, import, it says, well, everything's fine, then it says can't find it, you say yeps and point to it. I really wish Resolve would keep this sticky so it knew where you last were. That would be really nice, but it doesn't. Okay, boom, and there we go. So now this one, I have the program recorded. So there's my whole show, but like here, that's a picture-in-picture. There's a camera, the NDI camera that was not one of the recorded ones. There's a picture-in-picture with the computer screen showing up. So all of that is in there now. And see, there's another picture-in-picture. All of that's there. So anywhere, I can go in and change angles, right? So if I go, oh, I cut that too late, there we go, just flip that over. Oh, cut that too soon. And if you want to swap out a different angle, these are not multicam files, so you would have to swap these out. Let's see if, actually I didn't try this before. If I go to the cut page and go to the sync bin, everything should, yep, everything's lined up automatically. So now I can just go in here and swap out the files just as if you had recorded this on an ATEM and you had the XML file from the ATEM. It's the exact same process in here. Now, if you want to take it a step further and turn those into true multicam files and potentially even swap those files out with camera originals. So maybe this is, let's say you were doing a 1080p show, but you were shooting with 4K cameras and you record 4K in all those cameras. So this doesn't apply for using the Yolo cameras because they don't record internally, but other cameras. Or you're recording 6K or you're recording in 12K. It could be done. Then you could take those raw files, those log files, those camera originals, whatever they are, and swap them out and keep everything in sync. So that is possible. It is a process that Alex Petier found, probably like 2 years ago now, he figured that out. And then how to do the multicams, and then I took it from where he left off and showed how to swap out camera originals. So that video, I probably should have put it in the description. I'll try to remember to add it after the show. That video is a couple years ago, but you can learn exactly how to do all that in Resolve, and it'll work in the free version of Resolve. Pretty sure now that I've said that. And yeah, so you can take your multicam show and recut it with your camera originals from any camera. Super, super cool. So that's what we wanted to show. It's pretty basic demo here. It's just import, point to the right folder, and there it is. But as you can see on there, your projects are there. Oops, your projects are there. Everything lines up in the sync bin because it's all got the same time code. And yeah, that is pretty straightforward and ready to go. So there you go. I hope you dug that. That's my little YOLO segment for the thing. All right, next let's take a look at the comments again, and then we're going to go into Q&A because I've got a few of them. Where were we? Let's see here. I guess it was just one new one. I got into screaming because I just didn't want to edit. 100% understand. Pardon me. I produced several YouTube shows and edited them, just not interested in editing myself. I only use FCP. Fair enough. I realize I don't have my water here. Excuse me just a moment. I got to go get my water. I'm going to hit the mute button. Let's put some music on. Let's see here. Do I have a I'll be right back page? I don't think I do. I do not have an I'll be right back. So I'll just put some music on, and if anybody comes asking, you can tell them that I'll be right back. Mic back on. Music, I said that's what happened before. I tapped the pause, but I missed it by that much. Missed it by that much. All right, moving on. Any other new comments? Question, will this work with my Ultra or is it Extreme only? I use the FCP multicam with the originals. I don't know. I think it might just be the Extreme that has this FCPXML feature. You'll know, the way you know is when you go into the record page, so go to the record settings, you see at the bottom it says generate timeline FCPXML. I actually never tapped on the info. Oh look, it has a whole page in here that shows you what to do. Oh yeah, look at that. See, it even shows if you don't record the program, there's blanks. Huh, I did not see that. So there you go. Got it. That's how you'll know. Look at that and then you'll know. Sorry, I don't know. Okay, back to this. And was there anything else in there? Not as smooth as me or Aaron. Hey, Aaron's super smooth. I used to be super smooth at this, but I've gotten rough, but getting the chops back, baby. We're coming back. We're getting there. Alrighty, let's do some Q&A. So back over to here, it's Q&A time. So these are 3 questions that our friends from YoloLiv sent over. Oh, that was supposed to fade away. I guess I didn't set up the fade away automatically on that one. These are questions that my friends from YoloLiv sent over. These are questions that showed up in their forums or their Facebook page or whatever. So first one, this is kind of a little self-serving, but the question is, and I'm sorry, I cannot read your name. The question is, I own a YoloBox Pro, been using it professionally for several years, it has served me very well. Now I'm looking to upgrade to newer and better devices. What would you recommend I purchase? Is there suitable for professional streaming and recording similar to the YoloBox Pro? And what would you recommend in terms of performance and features for the price? Thank you in advance. Well, I mean, it's kind of a setup here, but YoloBox Extreme. The YoloBox Pro is awesome. I think that's even a step below the Ultra, right? But then there's the Extreme. And the Extreme is, you know, it's the one that does everything. Here's what I'll say about the Extreme. Obviously, it's the most expensive one. It's a $2,000 box. However, that said, if you purchase using the code PhotoJoseph that's rolling across the screen right now, you do get 5% off. PhotoJoseph 5, that's it, 5% off. So that includes anything. That includes the YoloBox Ultra, which means 5%. That's $100 off. Can't argue with that, right? That's a pretty good deal. So this has a ton of inputs, 8 HDMI inputs, 2 HDMI outs. You got, I think, 3 USB ports on here, tons and tons of power. If you're doing 4K, a 4K stream, then obviously this is the only way to go. And that's what I'm doing now, is a 4K stream. But let's face it, most people are not doing a 4K stream. So if you're not doing 4K, because of the way this box works, and it is reliant entirely on CPU power, if you are doing a lower bandwidth show, HD, then you can do more at the same time. Record more ISOs, do more with the inputs. It's like everything you can do more of. So basically by doing less on one end, you get to do more on another. Just saying that it gives you the most flexibility. Obviously there are cheaper YOLO boxes, but if you are doing this for a living and you know you want to have the flexibility to just keep on growing, keep on doing things, then this is definitely the box to get. There's kind of no argument about that. So yeah, that's the one. Okay, next question. Somebody had asked how to stream on Kick. I'm just going to leave this up on here for a moment. I've never streamed on Kick, so this is just a screenshot that they sent me with the instructions, but you can see that you are basically streaming to an RTMP stream. So you just go into the custom streaming in the YoloBox and choose RTMP. But you see the really, really important, you have to append that /app at the end of the URL. So it gives you an example on there of what it would look like. You got to do that or else it's not going to work. So that's it. That's all you got to do for Kick is do it as a custom RTMP stream, pop in the URL that you got from Kick and add that /app at the end. That is all there is to that. So pretty straightforward and simple, but it is that little tricky thing that if you didn't look up, you would never know and that it would never work. So there you go. Last question up here is from Rick Bush, says, hey, I'm building a podcast studio around an Extreme and wonder how to connect 4 S3 cameras to the Extreme. Will that work? So the S3 is that's this one, that is the webcam. So it's was it $200 or $300? I should probably know these things. It's $200 webcam. Maybe it's 3, I think it's 2. Anyway, super affordable, really awesome camera, autofocus, like good autofocus, 4K, it's fantastic. Love this thing, but it's USB. So the Extreme only has 3 USB ports. So what's it got? I mean, and that's 3, you have 2 of them that are USB A and then you've got a USB C, which you can use as well. So what's it got to do? Well, it turns out, I couldn't believe this, there is actually a way to convert USB UVC, so that's Universal Video Codec, I think. That's the video that comes over USB. There's a way to convert that to HDMI. Now, the last time someone had asked me about this was years ago, and the only thing that I found was somebody had basically hand-built a conversion box that I think it ends up costing so much, you're like, just go buy an HDMI camera. Like, come on. But since then, people have gotten innovative. And there is, let me pull up the web page for it, there is a box that you can buy to convert UVC. Is this the one? UVC, maybe it's the HDMI one. It says on here somewhere. UVC converter. There we go. There's a couple different versions of this. This box, actually this one says it as well. I just missed it. This box will convert UVC into HDMI. That is pretty cool. There's 3 of them on here. There's HDMI with NDI, HDMI only, and SDI, NDI. So you can see the prices. The SDI one is obviously the most expensive. HDMI only is the least expensive. It's still a little on the pricey side, right? It's not, you know, at some point you think, well, is it worth buying the USB camera and then buying this converter, or is it worth better just to buy an HDMI camera? But if you want to use it, you've already got the S3 cameras, you want to convert that, then that will work. And I know about this because the friends at YoloLiv said, hey, this is how you can do it. And they sent a picture that somebody else had sent them of their production using it. So that actually does work with that S3. So there you go. So there's the answer to that. If you want to have an extra USB webcam, convert it to HDMI using this box, and then you got it. So love that. Pretty cool. Pretty darn cool. All right, that's the Q&As. Next is a show pick. Let me go back to the questions real quick and see where we're at. But show pick is next. Well, good evening to you too. I streamed to Instagram and TikTok on the YoloBox Ultra app in the desert area and used 5G modem. 3 cameras are recording also. Cool. So right, the Ultra does give you the vertical, doesn't it? So the in-stream is all vertical. The Ultra is, I think, the only one that gives you the option to go vertical. The Extreme does not yet have vertical. And we keep asking for it, and they're like, yeah, we know people want it, but there's other things we want to do first. So we'll see. We'll see if it gets it. I think they will eventually, but yeah, that's definitely a cool one. Matt's saying just get a real camera. I think part of it is you already own them, right? For whatever reason, you had some project, you needed them, whatever, you already own those cameras. And consistency, right? There is something to be said for that. It's easier to balance 4 identical cameras than it is 3 cameras and then one that's totally different. So there is that to be said. But yeah, there you go. I ordered this device for HDMI NDI convert. Waiting for delivery and able to delivery nowadays. I'm not quite sure what that means, but you're waiting for it. So, well, maybe next time we're on the show, you can tell us how it worked out for you. That would be fantastic. And if you've got an S3, plug it in, or any webcam, plug it in. Let us know how that works out. Thank you, Omar. That'd be cool. Okay. I've got a cool little pick. This is a simple one, but I love it, and I use it all day, every day. But find my right slow title. There it is. The show pick. All right, so this is another on my Mac kind of a pick. I'm not going to pick the 12K. I mean, it could, but you know, it's a bit much. This is called Automounter. And I guess I should just pull up the website to start, so let me get that back up. This is a tool from a company called Pixeleyes. Pixeleyes, there we go. And what it does is it mounts your network volumes automatically for you so that if they dismount, they just remount, or more importantly, you plug your laptop into your school network, your work network, whatever, and it automatically mounts based off of your current IP address. So multiple things it can do. Automatically mount your servers, which if you have multiple NASs, multiple whatever SMB volumes you're mounting, it's a huge time saver. If one of them goes offline because SMB sucks and they tend to go offline, then it'll just remount it right away. But the super cool feature is IP based. There's a lot of different ways you can trigger it. I actually don't know if you can do it by location, but certainly by IP or network interface address. Like, it has a lot of different criteria that you can dive into, so you can set it to be very granular. So mine is configured so that, like right now, I am plugged into, so this is hooking up to my, obviously the computer has Wi-Fi, but this is hooked into a network interface that's just tucked under the desk. But that network interface is different than the network interface that is plugged in on my desk over there. So when I plug in here, my network volumes don't mount because I haven't configured it to mount off of this. I plug it in at my desk and all those network volumes automatically mount. I go home, open my laptop, and they don't mount because I'm not on that network interface. So really, really cool. So let me just show you what it looks like. It's pretty straightforward. Let me hide a few things here. It's pretty straightforward. And this is called Bartender, by the way, which is going to be another pick of the week, because when you have too much stuff like I do, it allows you to find them. Automounter, of course, now I can't find it. Here it is, Automounter. All right, so Automounter, so you see right here, it has the IP address of all the different NASs that I might want to mount. You can see they're all orange because it says here, rule conditions not met. So the rules to mount this have not been met, so it's not trying to mount it. And let's see if I go and I look at the edit for this rule. So automatically unmount when they're not available. So it just automatically dismounts. I don't get any of those, why haven't you dismounted, or you need to dismount, or the volume not found. I don't see that. They just are gone. The volumes, so I don't unmount before I unplug my laptop. When I get home, open my laptop, they're just gone. So that's cool. And then set mount rules. So I have it set to active interface is, and then it's EN5. And it'll even tell you down here, if I go to interfaces, it'll tell you what your active interfaces are. And so let's see, this one that I have right now, Thunderbolt Ethernet slot 2, that must be that one because it's active EN16. So watch this, I'm going to add an interface name, active interface name. I have no idea if this is going to work, it should. Active interface name is EN16, right? That's what I said? Is that what I said? I think I said 16. Yep, 16, EN16. Okay, I think that's it. Done, did that stick? Yep, that's there. Okay, so save, and it should, I think it'll probably cycle or something, but it should, at some point, we'll see. It should mount. That's how it's supposed to work. We'll just see. I'm just gonna let it sit there for a minute and see. I don't know how often it pulls things, but certainly when I wake up the computer, it pulls. So there's a way to like scan, refresh. I don't know. You know what I'll do is I'll quit it and relaunch it. That should do it, because that'll force it to scan. Automounter. Oh, I wonder if that was like an and. I might have, because obviously let's see here. Set mount rules. Oh yeah, mount if all. There we go. Any. Haha. That's the trick. Any rule. Save. And isn't it a great demo when you're just sitting around waiting for something to happen like this? Should have tested this before I did the demo. Okay, I'm going to quit it again. If it doesn't work this time, then I'm out of here. But the tool does work. It's awesome. Automounter. It is super awesome. I do use this all the time. Rule conditions not met. I have no idea why. Dang it. What a crappy demo. Who's running this demo? Man. Oh well. I don't know what to tell you. But it works every day on my desk. All those go green, all these mount up, and that's all there is to it. So anyway, Automounter, links in the description. Terrible demo. Don't trust the demo artist. Trust the software. It's cool. It works. And if it just suddenly shows up, I'm going to switch back over to the Mac and show it to you. But it is a huge time saver. And like I said, because I'm constantly moving around with the laptop, SMB volumes just go poof every once in a while. The thing's really good. I even have it set up to, this took me a little bit to figure out, but I have it set up to auto mount it's network over Thunderbolt. So I have a NAS that has a Thunderbolt connection, but it's not Thunderbolt. It's IP over Thunderbolt, something like that. And it's a little bit complicated to configure. But once I got that configured, then I realized, well, I can probably do this with Automounter, and sure enough, do it with Automounter, and so it does the same thing. It just mounts that IP address, and off it goes. So super, super cool. All right, so that's that. That's my pick of the week. It's down in the thingy down below. Automounter is what it's called from Pixeleyes, and there is, and there's in the link down below, it'll take you to the App Store or their website direct. I don't care where you get it, but there you go. So yeah, that's that. All right, anything in the comments here? Commentary track is a game changer. Thank you. I love the commentary track. I can't wait to do more with it. I think it's super fun. Oh, there's been quite a few questions came in. All right, let's see here. Let's go back up to here. I use the OBSBOT USB to HDMI for my Tiny 2. Oh, OBSBOT's got one as well. Okay, well, I want to look this up. Chrome OBSBOT USB to HDMI. Well, there we go. Look at that. At B&H, OBSBOT USB. Although that really isn't. I should stop clicking on USB, on links to, there it is, on links on Google to B&H, because they always make you think that they're an exact match, and all it really is taking that as a search term. Anyway, OBSBOT UVC, Universal Video Codec to HDMI adapter, $160. Super. Well, look at that. God, you go to sleep for a week and people start inventing new things. Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you very much for sharing that. Will the Rodecaster Video replace the Rodecaster Pro 2? No. No, the Rodecaster Pro 2 that's audio, right? That's all the faders on there. The Rodecaster Video lineup, so your Video S, and now the Video Core, are the video interface part of it. But you can combine them. That's the beauty of it. That's the new thing, is you can take that Video Core, plug it into a Rodecaster Pro 2, which is the audio interface, or the Rodecaster Duo, the smaller audio interface, and gain control of the core from the Pro 2. Super, super slick. Again, video just released not even 24 hours ago. Go check that out. It's cool. Totally different workflow than Yolo, but yes, it can do the same thing. Oh, he's talking about, okay, cool. We're talking about different cameras. Excellent. You guys have that conversation. Commentary track is a game changer. Yes, I think so too. Thank you very much. Looks like a cool tool. It's not a fun tool. It's just, we're talking about the Pixeleyes Automounter now. It's not fun, but it gets the job done. And it was like, was it $5 or $10 on the App Store? Maybe 10, I don't know. And somebody else had told me about it, and I was like, I don't need to spend $10 or whatever to auto mount my VOD. I'll just mount them every morning. And then every once in a while they dismount and I'd get upset and I'd go in and retype it. And then I thought, you know what? It's worth the money just to stop being upset every time volume dismounts, because it just comes right back. So there we go. Okay, that's the last one of those. I think that's kind of it. I gave us an extra half hour, which we didn't really need today, but it's good to have the time, because now if we had started half an hour later, I'd be stressing right now because I would have to leave in like 3 minutes and I wouldn't have time for that. So this is good. We'll just chill for a minute, see if there's any last minute things that come up, if anybody's got anything they want to add or questions they want to ask or things they want to know about this beautiful baby here. This thing's so cool. I love it. It's really cool. Oh, you know something I was starting to say earlier and then I squirrel. This is the most excited I've been to review a new camera in a really long time. And not to say that all the Lumix cameras I've done videos on aren't awesome, and like the S1 II is just a phenomenal camera, and it is still my favorite camera, and I'm going to do a video on that soon of 1 year with the S1 II. But you know, every time I got a new Lumix camera, it's an evolution from what was there before. To me, this is exciting because it's totally different. That's part of what I'm so excited about on here, to review something completely and totally different. And obviously, it does things that no other camera does, no Lumix camera does. It does 12K, which is awesome. Blackmagic RAW internal, which I like Blackmagic RAW just fine. Prefer ProRes RAW, but Blackmagic RAW is great. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be fun to rig it out. It is going to be fun. It's going to be big when it's rigged out, which is kind of funny because it's like such a nice, small, little compact thing. But, you know, you need, like, there's really nowhere to attach a microphone on here. There's mount points on the bottom, a ton of mount points on the bottom. Here, let's do a top-down view of this. Let's go overhead here, and I'm going to turn the autofocus back on so I can get closer. Autofocus, there we go. So you can see the side, it's got mounting plates on the side, and it comes with this thing that you can strap stuff on. It's kind of funny. It's like it screws in, and it has straps, so you can strap anything to it. So that's kind of a universal, I guess, attach anything kind of a tool. The bottom has got more threads than you would ever possibly know what to do with. So, and a lot of ventilation holes down there as well. That's cool. But yes, a lot of mounting points on the bottom. The top has mounting points, but they're now being used by the handle, and the handle itself has mounting points there, which is interesting because where are you going to put your hand if you put something in there, but there you go. The screen, the LCD does not flip out, it stays here, but for the most part you're going to be looking at this one. The side one is more about camera control, so if you've got it mounted somewhere, you know, it's on the sticks and you're like you can go over here to change settings, but you can also change the settings on here. Like I said, it's all touch. Really neat thing about the configuration on this is when you go into the settings to customize basically anything, you can say whether that change that you're making is going to show up on this external LCD or on this internal LCD or on the SDI out or both or none, or you can totally customize it. So you can have something that when you touch a button, touch, you know, F1 here, it makes a change on all the outputs, and then F2 makes a different change, but only on the monitor here. This monitor has F1, 2, 3 buttons on it as well that are separate from these buttons. I guess they're not F1, 2, 3. No, they are. F1, 2, 3 on here. So you got 3 functions there, 3 function buttons there, totally programmable, which, you know, let's be honest, is a lot fewer programmable buttons than my Lumix cameras have, which is like 20-something programmable buttons. But you know, you work your way around it. It's pretty cool. It is definitely a cool tool. What do I think about the new Apple MacBook Neo? So a ton of videos dropped like an hour ago, and I haven't watched any of them. I'm anxious to see what people say about the performance of it. It is, what is it, an iPhone 16 chip in there, which is wild. The price is insane. To be able to get a fully functional laptop for $600 is nuts. 256 gigs seems like an awfully small amount of storage, but I think my M1 MacBook Air, I still have the original M1 MacBook Air that was $999. Pretty sure that one's also 256 gigs. And I managed, you know, I mean, I don't use it that much anymore. It's kind of a permanent installation over there, but I do want to get one, but I don't need it. I had a possible sponsorship deal, but that was specific to that laptop, but I think it fell through, so I don't think that's going to happen. Like I said, I don't have a need for it, but what a price. What a price. And if the performance is there for your basic student type work, which is, it's an amazing student machine, I'm I mean, this is fantastic. You know, you want an extra laptop at home so you don't have to carry one back and forth. You just need it for admin stuff. Perfect. It's pretty cool. I mean, that's hell of a price. That's obviously the thing. It's the price. Crazy. Which mount? L mount? Yes, Omer, this one is the L mount. I got the L mount. Yeah, you can get LPL. Yeah, right. What is the other one? LPL. Oh, E mount. You can do E mount. But yeah, this is the L mount because I have a ton of L mount lenses. So there's that. I have two 6K G2s in the studio. We do mostly documentary works. Wondering how different would be working with 12K. So, Heilig I don't know if you were here earlier when I was talking about this, but if you want to see the full advantage, let's say, of 12K, let me start with the disadvantage. 17-minute video cut down from about 40 minutes of raw footage took up the better part of a terabyte. So it was like 700 plus gigabytes of. So that takes up a lot of space. But if you need 12K, if you want to see what 12K can do, go watch the intro to my Higgsfield AI video. That's like 2 weeks ago now. Watch the whole video, please. But watch the intro. And in that intro, you'll see a lot of cuts, cutting in close, tight shot, wide shot. And there's, I don't know, like 6 different zoom positions that I did. That's all with one camera. And the difference between the widest shot and the tightest shot where it's basically my face is like this in the frame, that is the full 12K 1:1. And then the widest shot is obviously zoomed all the way out. So you can compare and see what difference it makes. It's a lot. 12K is a lot. I wouldn't shoot it all the time, but it is definitely a lot. What product are you looking to be released at NAB? Honestly, Matt, I have no idea what's happening at NAB. I will be there for sure. I don't have any particular, I hope this is being released. Blackmagic always does great stuff. Hopefully there'll be another big update to Resolve. Probably goes into beta there. That's always exciting. I don't know. If you know something, tell me. I will be there. Who else is going to NAB? Let me know in the comments. Anybody who's going to NAB, we should do like a meetup or something. I did that once years ago. It was fun. Did it a couple times. I know, but I think this one is L mount. Yes, this one's L mount. Wonder if there's any reason to choose L mount. If you got a ton of L mount lenses, that would be the reason. And with the hope, right, if this goes PL, if you bought the PL version, can you adapt? You can't adapt L to PL. You can adapt PL to L. So there's a good reason right there. L mount is probably the most universal, right? Yeah, there's your reason right there. L mount's going to be the most universal. I can adapt PL to L. I can adapt EF to L. But I can't adapt PL to EF. No, I can't adapt PL to, no, I can't adapt L to PL or L to EF. There you go. So this is going to give the most universal. I think that would be the reason to go with L. Autofocus is, you know, almost non-existent in here. However, if the rumors are true and this camera is going to get a PDAF upgrade because the chip is already in there and they just got to turn it on, then if you do want autofocus, then you'll want to have those L mount lenses, or the EF would work as well for that if you have EF lenses. But if you've got L mount lenses, then it's obvious. But yeah, you can adapt everything to this. I own an EF adapter, so I got a lens that I love. Actually, here's a video I'm going to work on. I have a lens that I love. It's a 50mm f1.2 Canon lens, L mount lens. I've had it for 20 plus years. Beautiful lens. Haven't shot with it in ages. I'm going to do a video on that. It's on my list of videos to do, kind of resurrecting an old lens, going out and shooting with it. Not like vintage lens, but this used to be my everyday carry lens, which is insane because it's huge, but it's so beautiful. So I should break that out. And that I could adapt to this because I have an L mount adapter for it. So there you go. So yeah, I would go L mount for that reason right there. I'm awaiting your footage you mentioned at the beginning. The footage that I mentioned at the beginning, if you're talking about the reel, so for those of you who weren't here in the beginning, we shot a reel today. We shot vertically with this in 12K 16:9, 9:16, and it's for an Instagram reel, or you know, all socials reel, where we show how far you can punch in. It's comical. It's just funny. It's ridiculous. I know it's a gag basically, but it's comical and it's pretty funny how much you can zoom in. No, it needs 12K, but I say that for 8K and my Leica and A1 both do 8K. Hey, I mean, it's great to have the option. Right? And this is part of the message that I know Blackmagic wants to get out about the camera. Just because it has 12K doesn't mean you have to shoot 12K, right? You can shoot in 12K, you can shoot in 8K, you can shoot in 6K, you can shoot in 4K, and you're still using the whole sensor. It's scaling it down internally. So you get the advantage of all those pixels being downscaled. You get a nice clean image, lower noise image, at a resolution that you actually need, you know, that 4K or 6K or whatever. but you have the 12K sensor, and of course you have the 12K to fall back on if you ever do need that. Just go to 12K and off you go. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Thanks, you will do. Excellent. We also look out for a tall man with a red hat. Hope to be hanging out with Curtis Judd most of the time. Oh, Curtis is awesome. Love Curtis. Super cool, dude. I managed his Discord. Oh, nice. Sound guy for 50 plus years. We have a lot in common. Oh, that's cool. Right on. Love Curtis. It'll be useful on one camera shoot podcast with 2 or 3 people. You can crop later that looks like 3 camera business. Yeah, that's what I was talking about too earlier. So with 12K, that's a huge advantage of it, to be able to shoot a single static scene and pull multiple cuts out of it. That's really awesome. Okay, I think it is time to wrap this thing up. Thanks everybody. That was a fun show today. I enjoyed doing this. I enjoyed showing you the FCPXML import into Resolve. I hope that was helpful for you. And no one said much about the idea of going out into the studio, but we'll see. We'll see what Frank has to say about it. I think it'd be fun to do. The reason I got to talk to Frank about it is because then I got to use cameras that aren't his, but we'll see. Okay, alrighty. I guess that's that. Time to wrap this show up. So let's bring the music back in. Find the music tab. There we go. The music is on. Gonna turn the mic off and go to, where's my closing screen? I got a closing screen here somewhere. I guess it's just this. Oh look, it's outdoors. Oh, it's still nice out. It's not dark yet. It's getting there. Okay, bye.